All right, Sunset Rewind back at you. 2026 edition boys volleyball. Talking some preseason action with a little bit of some Marina boys volleyball. I am Tran Rodriguez. Here with me is a man that is highly respected in the volleyball community and that needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one. Charlie Brand. How are you doing, Charlie?
Thanks, Taryn. That was nice.
No problem. I mean, I wouldn't want to break these down or do this with anyone else. So.
Oh, you're too kind. What are your nicknames again?
So you call me the Answer Man.
Yeah.
But when it comes to Sunset Rewind as a whole, I'm known as the Dawn, courtesy of Mo and Kevin. I mean, I kind of gave myself that nickname, but eventually we all ran with it. And I think the Dawn just sounds so epic.
Is that D-O-N or D-A-W-N?
Excellent question. First time I've been asked that. It is the D-O-N. So anyway,
hey, we've got...
without any further delay, let's introduce the guest today. He's the boys and girls coach at Marina for volleyball. He is an amazing person overall, and he might have the best mustache in the league. But ladies and gentlemen, Ryan Parker, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for the introduction, and appreciate the compliment on the mustache. I've been growing it for a little bit.
Absolutely. So we got to start off with you. You're in year 6 as head coach. What's it like being the head coach of Marina, and what do you think you've learned the most as head coach?
I mean, it's a great culture. I got in at Marina pretty ground floor, I'd say, with where our athletics are as a school even. You know, we've had a lot of in my 6 years at Marina, we've actually had a lot of coach overturn and a new athletic director and several principals and putting a big focus on the sports side of things at Marina every step of the way. So it's been a really good experience to kind of get in when I did get into the head coach role because it's all hands on deck from administration down. And so it's been great at Marina. And then some of the things I've learned, we were talking before we started, like I got in my first year and won CIF in state, and I learned that it's not that way every year, you know. And of course, prior to that, I was with Marina for 3 years, and I got to witness Sunset. But it's a whole other thing when you're the one in charge of the program. You know, Sunset is unforgiving, and you know, you think things are going to go some way, and at any given moment, because all the competition is so good, you're an injury away from catastrophe because everybody else is just sitting there waiting, you know. And so I've learned that you can never be too prepared, and you can never take anybody lightly in Sunset, no matter what. And as soon as the season's over, or even sometimes before the season's over, you already got to be thinking about next year, and it's just a constant cycle if you want to keep up.
Now, something we got to talk about is your team. It was a pretty young team last year, but you returned most of the players. Talk to us. Let's go position by position. Talk to us about the Pins. Yeah,
I mean, Pins is almost my whole team. You know, I've got a ton of really versatile guys that have played multiple positions for me at Marina, multiple positions for club, and we returned all of the Pins that were contributing last year. Sky Azawa was really big for us last year. He's a 3-year starter for us. He got his start his freshman year because of an injury with that group, and we've kind of never looked back. He'll be a big part of what we got going on. Caden Hendry is going to be a good thing, a good offensive option for us. He's a really big guy, and he's got a big arm, and we're hoping to corral some of that intensity into some control. But then outside of that, I've got guys like Jackson Dahl and Charlie Voteman and a few other newcomers that are all kind of in the mix on the Pins and the middle. You know, we're trying to figure out some identity things right now for us with who's going to be where, just because I've got so many good options. It's going to be interesting. I don't know how often we're going to see the same lineup twice, at least in the early stages, just because we've got so many guys that can do so many different things.
Now, those kills won't be possible without your setter. Talk about your setter or setters and how they plan to lead the offense.
Yeah. So Andy Tran is our setter right now. Sky does some setting, and he did some setting for us as well last year. But Andy spent a lot of time running the 5-1. He's a little guy, but he gets up and he jumps really well. He's touching well above 10. So even though he's not the most physically imposing when you walk in the door, he does a really good job of running our offense, and we put in a lot of work with him and his brain. He's a very technical setter, but this past year has been all about training what to look for, when to go to who, and really studying the game at a pretty good level.
And we obviously have to go over the liberos, or as Charlie once called them, the Liberace. I remember you did it in a preview. I think it was with the CDM. Who are your liberos or libero?
Yeah, so I returned the only 4-year varsity guy that I've got, Justin Nguyen, and he's going to be leading us at libero.
Sure, he's not a 5-year. He's been there forever.
He's been with us for a while. He's kind of been through multiple phases of the program too. Right. So his freshman year was right after he came in, right after we'd won a CIF title, and he got to work with a lot of that group as the young guy, kind of playing up with that. And he's really the foundation of the control of what we do. He's a great little hustle guy, and he's turned himself into a pretty good leader as well. And then he's got a younger guy with him, a sophomore, Jaden Tran, and so he's going to be helping us out in the serve-receive side, but getting some pressure, some well-needed pressure for Justin also.
Sure.
I love it. So let's talk about your schedule. I did see your schedule on Max Preps. I saw some of it. You're playing the likes of Dana Hills and Tesoro. The Tesoro one really intrigues me because they wound up winning CIF last year in Division III. Mm-hmm. Talk to us about your non-conference or non-league schedule.
Yeah, I mean we put a lot of work in outside of Sunset, especially with trying to balance that prep for Sunset and make sure that you're getting where you need to be going into league as far as wins and losses, and with that in mind, though, it's like if you don't prep for Sunset and you can't win a couple of games in Sunset, your whole preseason is worth nothing anyway, right? So the nice thing about Southern California is you don't have to go very far outside of Sunset even to find some really high-level competition. Tesoro in particular has been a good source for us in the past. And Rich Polk is a great coach, and his programs are similar to Sunset programs. They're never really down, right? And so, to be honest with you, I don't know where they're at this year, but I know that they're always good. And so when we wanted to get a game together, I thought it was going to be a good opportunity to get some looks at something outside of Sunset, but is going to be pretty Sunset feeling. And then our tournaments that we go to, similar things. We see a lot of Trinity teams. Like the Portola tournament has actually turned into a pretty good level competition over the years, and a lot of the Trinity teams do that. Foothills is another one that we have started doing recently, and it's all about finding that balance for us of getting some opportunities to look at some things for our lineup ahead of Sunset, but also making sure we're getting some good competition going in, so we're not hit in the face first point and oh no, we've never seen anything like this.
I love it. So that Portola tournament is this weekend. A few teams will be kicking off their season that week, not just you all and not just the teams in the field. Teams like Corona Del Mar and Mater Dei, and then Servite and Edison. What's like the feeling starting your season off this week as opposed to like starting it off next week, and how excited is your team for this upcoming week?
We're really excited. I think we've been hitting the practice schedule pretty well lately, and the competition in the gym has been really good, and it's been a lot of fun and high level energy. So I'm excited at least to get out there and show what we can do. As like you mentioned, last year we were a pretty young group, and that youth is now gone for most of the guys, and so we're expected to perform. And so I'm looking forward to seeing how we do.
Did you want to add something, Charlie?
Well, it sounds like you have a lot of volleyball players,
mm-hmm.
and that's a really good thing as the season goes, and you're able to use different adjustments, find out which combination of them is the best, because in the end, it's about chemistry.
Yeah.
And who's playing within the best chemistry for your team. And having players, not just hitters or setters or whatever, blockers, really allows you a lot of flexibility in developing that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like a guy like on our team, Ty Roshan, he was a middle, came in, and he was a JV guy his freshman year, and we said, hey, you know what, let's put you down on Frosh and let you play some outside, because he was a big, tall guy, and he turned that into some more volleyball. And then sophomore year, last year for us, he was in the middle primarily, and then late in the season when we needed him to, he played some right side. He went out in the club, played some outside this year, played some right side, played some middle. So it's, I'm always happy to see guys become volleyball players first, position second,
When you ask them, what's your position, and they go, all of them?
Yeah.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing for sure. And we've got a bunch of guys like that. Yeah.
So I want to talk about Sunset League play. I mean, the Sunset League is going to be stacked top to bottom. A lot of good teams. All of them are well coached, including your team as well. Talk to us about what it means to play in the Sunset League, and talk to us about what excites you the most for Sunset League play, even though that's looking way too far down the line.
Yeah, I mean, Sunset, there's no better place to get high-level experience, and I think that for our athletes that come through Sunset, wherever they may go, college, club, whatever, the ones that get used to that level because of high school, they have success, and it's a really, really great environment. It can be tough, and especially on the boys' side. It can be really, really tough. I always tell all of my programs at the very beginning on the boys' side, look, you're in probably the top league in the country, and there's no hiding that. And so when we look at how we need to prepare, you got to understand what you're up against, and you got to understand what these guys at Corona Del Mar, Newport Harbor, Huntington, Edison, where like historic volleyball communities, what they're doing to prepare, and you got to realize what we are up against and prepare the same ways. And so a lot of our guys hear that message early on, and they, especially this group that I've got right now, they heeded the warning, and they've really turned themselves into people that love the study of the game and putting in the work. And I think that just having that in your brain last year as a young guy, and then getting to witness and feel it firsthand has really changed a lot of the attitudes and a lot of the way that the athletes have prepped for this year, for sure.
Ryan, that's really exciting. That's fun to be a part of that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And Charlie and I pretty much agree with you that the Sunset League is maybe the best league in terms of boys volleyball in the United States. Who have been some of your favorite coaches that you've loved to compete against in the Sunset League? Or anywhere in general?
I mean, I love competing with Greg.
Everybody
does. Everybody does.
And
I love that, because early on in my career, he was a guy that before I was even really heavily involved with Marina, got to come under his and coach with him. His son Jake, who's now the starting setter at Long Beach State. Me and him coached this little 12s team that we never even played a tournament because we could never get enough guys there. But it was Jake and a couple of his buddies, and it was cool. It was a really great experience for me. So now kind of getting to the other side where I'm competing with Craig night in, night out. Pat is another one where, like on the club side, a few years ago, we had a really great 14s program, and his 14s teams at Balboa are always great, and so it was a lot of fun competition there. And Trent, I love competing with Trent because Trent is absolutely a competitor at his heart, and he every single play, and it's a lot of fun, and I like competing with them because we can kind of get into the heat of the match, but and then we can respect how things go after that, and it's always a great learning experience for me to kind of be outside looking in at how they manage themselves during games, and every match is a lesson learned, win or loss.
I love it. I love that little coaching philosophy, and I think Charlie would agree when it comes to learning from wins and losses.
Well, the thing that I have always admired about you and your program is it's tough when you've got all these top-notch teams in your league, because you will lose, and maybe badly along the way. and how do you recover? Because there isn't another easy one coming up.
Yeah.
And it's going to, in that recovery time, and that change in emotions, and that, down to up that you have to produce is the hardest thing. But it also makes you the best later on.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell everybody all the time, like, our goal is get out of Sunset one way or another. And typically when we've been able to do that, we've had decent success, because we're much more battle tested than the average team coming out of Sunset.
Right.
And so learning how to meet the group where they're at for me, and get the group used to the ups and the downs, and no highs too high, no lows too low. That's something that Sunset always helps us out with, for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So something I actually asked another Sunset League coach, who are some of your coaching influences, and who are some coaches that made you want to become a head coach in volleyball?
Oh, well, I mean, number one, Derek Lazero. That's my guy. I would not be sitting here today if it wasn't for him. Just by pure chance. He ended up coaching at my tiny little private school in Huntington Beach, Liberty Christian, my senior year. And I had always loved volleyball, but not quite at that level, because I had never been around a coach at that level. And so I was actually a committed basketball player, and decommitted and decided to pursue volleyball full time. And he invested so much time into me as a young player, and then a young coach, and now kind of in some respects kind of a partner on the club side of things. He's first and foremost, like I said, Craig was a big influence. I don't even know if he realizes that or not, but across the sideline, but also in the short time I got with him coaching. Jake Nunneviller is another one at Mater Dei, close friend that had all the volleyball experience in the world, coming from where he came from in Arizona, with his mom running Aspire, and his little sister is a
pro volleyball star,
one of the best players in the country right now. And and he was no bad player either. He was a top level player. And so at early stage of my career as a coach, coming alongside him and kind of getting to see him operate was a big deal. Sam Morehouse, I don't know if you guys remember Sam.
I coached Sam.
Yeah, Sam was another great one, and all of that kind of at the mastermind of Derek, kind of sticking me along with guys. I spent time my first year with Derek and Steve Klosterman, a Marina alum and former NCAA Player of the Year.
Yeah.
And then Sam Morehouse the next year, and then Jake the year after that. And, so my first 3 years of coaching was two things: tons of volleyball, coaching 3, 4, 5 teams a year, and then getting in with some good coaches. Edgar Palos also on that, who I got the boys' job from at Marina. Yeah.
Awesome. So on that note, who's on your coaching staff? Who are some of your assistant coaches that help row the boat and keep the boat afloat?
Yeah. So my coaching staff this year is pretty similar. I have Joseph Nunez whenever he can be around. He's got his own playing schedule with Concordia.
Yep.
But he's my brother-in-law, and he's kind of my right-hand man. So anytime he can be around, he is. So he helps me out with the varsity team. And then a new guy to the staff is Carson Bashford. He's a player at Hope International, but he came to us because he was in between. He went to Merrimack out of high school. He was a Carlsbad kid. He spent some time coaching at Carlsbad last year. And so he went to Merrimack. We came into the area just because he was looking for some training and coaching, and we got him in on the club side. He's turned into a really, really good coach. He cares a lot about the kids. He's a very detail-oriented guy, so he's handling my JV team. And then a former player of mine who's been my Frosh coach for years now is Tim Fronick, who was one of the first guys around when we got to the Marina program, me and Edgar. So he's done a good job. He's a really militant is almost the word I want to use, which is, with those younger guys that are new to volleyball, it has been a very good thing for us, for sure.
You could also call it old school.
Yeah, old school. Old school.
That means the same thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So yeah, that's our coaching staff this year. We might have some, here and there guys pop in and help us out, especially from the college side of things, with our connection at Hope through Carson. But I'm really excited with the staff this year, for sure.
I love it. And then Obviously, your team wound up winning the CIF Southern Section Championship and Regional Championship in 2021. Do you still kind of use that as motivation, or is that just in the rear view mirror just because it feels like forever ago?
I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel like that long ago to me. Especially now that those guys are all out of college and they're starting to kind of show up again. And it's been cool reconnecting with a lot of those guys from that team. Like one with the freshman setter that year, Dylan Nguyen, he's going to Springfield now, and they were out here playing games, so it was cool connecting with him. But for me, it's highly motivating. Like all I want is to get back on that stage, and get to where our program is constantly creating CIF opportunities and success. For the guys that I've got right now. They get to walk in every day to our gym and see those two banners hanging in the gym. And, I think that it can be motivating for them because they want a taste of it. And these guys that I've got right now have never seen that. They've been to CIF. We've had a little bit of success here and there with some of them, especially the older guys. But I think that it's definitely motivating because we know that there's been a bit of a drought from that, and so it's full steam ahead on getting back to giving ourselves an opportunity to have some success in CIF.
I love it. Charlie, did you want to add anything more, or do you have anything to ask?
Until Ryan walked in the door, I had planned to talk about the move or the statement in NFL football coaches, but they always say this guy's 38, he's a young and upcoming guy. And Ryan, for 7 years, has looked like the young and upcoming guy, especially in the Sunset League with a bunch of old people. But he grows this mustache, and that changes the whole image. Yeah. I know he has the best mustache in the Sunset League, but I can't use my look at the young guy coaching anymore.
Well, we'll see it. We'll see how it goes this year.
Maybe a week from now it'll be different.
Yeah, maybe. You never know.
We shall see. Do you have any other shouts you want to give before we close this thing off?
Oh yeah, of course I'd love to shout out first and foremost my wife. I would not be sitting here if she wasn't able to help us out and provide so much with covering with our 2-year-old daughter and working. Coaches that don't have traditional day jobs, they got to have somebody at home that can help out. And so my wife has been incredible, college volleyball player too. So she's not. And now she's actually coaching for me a little bit, so I've got her kind of back involved.
Yeah.
So that's a huge thing for us, and just all the admin through the years. Taking a chance on, like you said, a young coach, because I was 19 when I got in, and here we are, and I love all the support that I've gotten from my admin team and parents along the way. So.
How many times were you asked if you were a player?
Oh, quite often, early on. I remember the first time I went to go get my keys, I was denied. And they said, no, I can't give you keys.
Who's the 7th grader asking for his keys?
Yeah, you can't have keys. And I was like, no, the AD sent me to get keys. Michelle knows I can't give keys to a student. And so I had to go walk my AD down and grab new keys. Yeah.
I remember that. Well, listen, Ryan, we appreciate you taking time out and coming down here and letting Charlie and I interview you. It really means a lot. We wish you best of luck this season. And ladies and gentlemen, that'll do it for this little preview of Marina Boys Volleyball, Sunset League Boys Volleyball 2026. Thank you to Charlie Brand for helping break this down. Like I said, I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. Thank you to the man behind the lens, Max Pickup, as well as Cole Menzinger, Nate Gervin, James Krupe, and Murphy Cargis. Hey, make sure to go to sunsetrewind.com for all things Sunset League sports. We don't just cover volleyball, we cover football, we cover a little basketball, we cover soccer. We're going to be doing spring sports like lacrosse and baseball, you name it. Also, follow Sunset Rewind on social media, on X, Instagram, and TikTok at sunset_rewind. And also subscribe to Sunset Rewind on YouTube. We're trying to reach 10,000 subscribers. With your help, we can definitely make it happen. We appreciate all of your support. And take care, everybody.